Супер гутен, супер абен, супер дорогие, супер телезрители. Уже по традиции мы начинаем от нашего самого прямого, всех самых прямых, нашего самого супер, всех самых супер, самую трансляцию, всех самых трансляций. Наверное, у нас грандмастера 32 раза. Ну, короче, будем делать так. Будем делать стратегии и будем просто учить, во-первых, механику рук. Ну, механика, она это чисто механическое занятие. И будем учить стратегии. Стратегии куча, конечно, но можем ему рачей на рампу подкинуть. Только тоже возможно. Закопанных рачей. Подожди, а можно ли сделать скорость и закопывание? Ну, если две рача не поставить, можно сделать скорость и закапывание одновременно. Ну, технически может. Так, а сколько я был Даймонд разов? 4. Уже 5-й раз. Так, давайте сейчас посмотрим, как это все лучше сделать. Так, что не так? Не нравится моя трансляция, если что. Так, мне единственное, что надо, мне кажется, подвинуть StarCraft на чё. Так, можно попробовать сделать 9 квинов, да? Что-то я играю обычно линбейн и хайбру.
Mineral quantity insufficient. Not enough minerals. Command unacceptable. More minerals required. Not enough minerals. Mineral quantity insufficient. More minerals required.
28 дронов, она говорит, я третью ставить. Возможно.
Additional Vespine gas required.
Что 28?
Mineral quantity, queen birth successful. Not enough minerals.
Что происходит?
More mineral quantity insufficient. Swarm forces under attack. Evolution queen birth successful.
Так, что у нас?
Not enough energy. More overlords required. Insufficient overlords. Insufficient Vespine. Not enough minerals. Command unacceptable. Insufficient energy. Newly birthed queen ready. Swarm forces under attack.
О,
Allied
найс.
forces in combat.
There is strategy.
Swarm forces under attack. Allied forces in combat.
I think the fastest way to win actually. So basically what you do? You get in pretty much full saturation at your second at the natural, and then you build belly nest to gases, and if you really want to push to press, then you just do layer and to chambers. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Что там пик стримит, блин?
So what I can do, hot tip guys, right click and then press return.
More overlords required.
Let's...
Orbital. Build Marines, build a tech lab. And where is that starport? We don't have the money just yet, but that's okay. We'll come back in a second.
Must spawn.
And I should be
more
using that camera
overlords.
location. I'm not doing it. I'm doing kind of things in it. It's funny when I slow down and I start just doing things less efficiently. I was like moving around like this. It's like, come on, man, use the camera locations.
Yeah.
More SCVs and mules drop down. Let's put everything else on top of the ramp in case some trouble starts. Let's add the starport to the hotkey. Build a CG tanky. And it's time for Gary to start up, isn't it? So Gary's starting a little later, but that's okay. If we get a slight supply block, it's better than making sure we build too many depots. Build a few more SCVs, a couple more Marines. I want to get that Viking started right away. Okay. Make sure we queue up another SCV right away. And if you do feel you're too supply block, guys, you can build a depot, but just put him back to mine. So that's not actually... So this is Gary. This is not Bruce. Bruce will join later. Keep that in mind. It just keeps things simpler for yourself so that we don't get tangled up. Build a few more SCVs, a mule, 2 more Marines, and let's get ready for our add-on swaps, guys. So we can lift this, and then we want to build a reactor, and then we want to build another reactor. So we're already tapping it, and there we go.
No.
Viking is going to fly
Okay,
through the base,
shift
and then we're going to shift-click that to land. We're also going to go Control 3, okay? We're just going to get these Marines, put those on Control 2. Let's do it. Alright, guys. Gary's going to go up into the main base after that. A few more SCVs,
Okay, so
drop some
I don't
mules.
need that.
It's barracks time, isn't it? So let's box some SCVs. Now, we realized the reason the barracks didn't build in that earlier game is because I didn't have the money. This time I made sure I had 600 minerals. Control click, shift 5. And let's go build a reactor, a factory. Blocked by the starport for a second. Go build a tech lab. Alright guys, a few more SCVs and mules, a few more Marines. Gary's going to build a depot, and because we've started the other ones, Bruce is now going to join him. We're going to build 2 gases, and we're going to select a different worker to build the engineering bay and queue that
Swarm
back.
forces under
Dizzle!
attack.
With another 5 gifted subs, thank you so much! Dizzle my shizzle fizzle! Dizzle my whizzle and stick it in my fizzle, you know what I'm saying? Hot damn, man, thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know what I'm saying, by the way. If you guys are ever wondering what is Pig saying when he says dizzle my fizzly whizzlies, I don't know either, it's fine.
Birthed
If you guys
queen
understand
ready.
me, you may want to seek help, because I'm pretty sure nothing I say makes sense. Notice I haven't been swapping that barracks back over, guys.
More
I think
overlords
that's actually
required.
fine. I think we might stick to this as
Mineral
the standard.
quantity insufficient.
As I'm doing it, I'm realizing I think there's a bit much for a gold player to do, so I think why bother swapping that over? I think Stim's still always going to be ready in time if we do it this way. There we go. Alright guys, no more SCVs required, just mules, marauders, lots of marines, tanks, medevacs, depots. Nice macro cycle,
Swarm
just like
has
that.
evolved.
Alright guys, let's get +1 weapons. My man! My
Not
man!
enough. Swarm
Alright, looking
forces
good guys.
under
Now remember there was an
attack.
observer in an earlier game curving on me, so I'm gonna build a turret here. I think it's a good thing to do against Protoss, because there's a very high chance they have an observer sitting somewhere here or here or something like that. You can always just drop a scan as well. Turret's a little bit cheaper. Okay, more Marauders, more Marines, more tank, more medevacs.
Successful.
Of course. We're actually getting close to supply block, guys. That production is insane at this point. So I'll immediately queue up 2 more depots here just to make sure there's 0 downtime on it. Okay. And we're looking really good. Let's make sure we control quick protect labs and press concussive. It'll automatically queue up concussive on the upgrade that has less time left to finish. Right?
Insufficient
It's like getting
energy.
more free queue essentially, right? Box these guys, shift to
Not
unsiege the
enough
tank. We're kind of
energy.
getting ready to move out right now. More Marauders, Marines. We build another tank. And then if we can build a medevac, that'd be great. Of course, we don't have much money, so we're kind of just tapping it, waiting for the money to tip in. You don't want to stare at things tapping when you've got other stuff to do. This is a point where our build's basically over. We just don't have much else to do, right? We're not moving workers around. All we're doing is building units and depots. So up 2 more depots just to be safe. And oh my god, okay, let's stim A move.
Unacceptable.
And let's try to be very careful here, guys. Pull the bio back.
Burst Queen.
Control critical tanks and siege them. We don't want to headbutt our Marines into that. So notice we're just sitting there.
More minerals
If there was a lot of
required.
Zealots running forward, I could have stimmed an A move, but Colossus died to siege tanks, but they roast Marines. Oh, he's coming again. Let's stim an A move, guys. Down the ramp. Uh-oh. Alright, hopefully I have enough. What the hell? When did I attack my own depot there? Was my bio all attacking my own depot? Now, because there's no support, we can chase those Colossus down, guys. Just keep stimming and scanning.
More additional
And notice we're just A
allied
moving.
forces
But ideally, I would have moved
contact.
forward and target fired. Now we killed the
Insufficient
Colossus, we can pull
Vespene
back. This is a
gas.
really good attack. Caught me just as I was about to move out.
Complete.
Let's grab the tanks, unsiege, bring to the front, build Marauders, build Marines, build tanks.
Insufficient energy.
I've got a lot of medevacs, and we know it's Colossus. I assume he's going to rebuild Colossus, so I can build a few Vikings as well. But since I already killed them, I might not need to, but yeah. Let's rebuild some of these depots. Though actually, I've got plenty of supply free, so it's not
Insufficient
really a
over
priority.
not
Let's just set the
enough
rally point down here.
minerals.
Box these guys. Let's move
Quantity
across that map. We should be able to win,
insufficient.
I think, now, guys. Take a look. I'm too good at pretending to be gold, guys. I'm getting better and better at pretending to be a gold league player the more I do Monster
Mineral
GM.
field
If we want, we
exhausted.
can start a 3rd base behind this. But we don't really need to. Box a few more units. Shift 2. Box, shift 2. Box, shift 2. You don't need to do that. I just figure why not. Let's scan here. So he's got a bunch of Stalkers and a Colossus, guys. Not a very good army. Does he have a base? Whoa, this guy has 4 bases? Okay, guys, let's move those tanks forward right up into this little area. Oh, that's a very big army. I'm going to rally across the map, guys, because I feel I'm going to need all the reinforcements I can get. Lots of Marauders, lots of Marines, build a tank,
Unacceptable.
and then a Viking. Well, I don't have the money for the Viking, so whatever. Just bring these guys across, shift 2. Let's put those Vikings on number 2 so they can be out front kind of scouting and giving vision. Let's move the tank forward. Let's pre-spread our army a little bit so we don't die to the Colossus, okay? We can't take too long though. Stim, and we're going to A-move because there's actually not that many Colossus. We have to fight off the Zealots. Once the Zealots are gone, you pull back. Now, here's an advanced move. If you can... Oh, he's coming for us. Okay, I think we can fight this guy. We're going to try and stim A-move, but if he runs back, we run back.
Mutated.
Right? Every single time, that's what we do. If he stims, if he pulls back, we pull back. He comes forward, we go forward. Alright. If there was more Colossus, more Storm, we'd probably just try to pre-spread a little bit more. But if there's a lot of Zealots, you need to run forward to kill them before they kill your tanks. Because if your tanks die, he can
Yes,
kind
so
of
what's
cause you a
going
lot of trouble. So we're going to stim these guys off in that direction.
Mineral field
And then these guys
depleted.
are all going to stim an A move as well, okay? Now at this point, there's not much meat left, so if you can click on the Colossus, that's going to be the best move you can do. Notice the Marines all got melted, but the Marauders did very well. Let's build more Marauders, more Marines, more tanks, more
Swarm
medevacs.
forces under attack.
Why was I doing that? Because I don't have much units left, right? So I really needed to build more tanks, build more medevacs. And looks like I have a few units just behind this as well. So I would keep putting that siege tank there. This guy played really well, did a good attack, expanded behind it, macroed forward like a beast. is actually a very scary. I don't know how he had 4 bases up. Are they just not saturated or what? 79 workers? What? This player is a madman. How do you dump excess gases Terran, says this guy. Don't worry about it. It's very unimportant. There's no amazing gas bank dump. Protoss has the best gas dump in Archons. But yeah, this is 68 probes. Wow. Alright, I did attack my own depot, by the way, like from the start of the fight, right? So this was kind of unfortunate, guys, because I don't have marine spotters. This is a lot scarier than it needed to be. This game would have been much easier if I put marine spotters out. If I saw this army coming, my tanks would be sieged on the low ground, and moving up this ramp would be a disaster. So here we go. I aimed for this first fight, but notice I didn't immediately siege the tanks. Do you guys know why?
I need something else.
Because they would have blocked the ramp. Now, I still could have just sieged them. It's just then my tanks would have had to start sieging up here because they wouldn't be able to move down the ramp without unsieging the tanks on. By pulling part of my bio back, I let just a few tanks and a few bio fight at a time, and it worked out pretty well.
Small attack. Overlords.
Now, when do I aim move this depot?
Combat.
Oh, it's just there. It's at that point. It's as he turns around, I aim move the depot. Thankfully it wasn't too early, and then the tank still kills it, right? Because I don't unsiege it in time, I don't think.
Swarm forces under attack.
Ow! But we killed all the Colossus, which was huge. If we kept those Colossus alive, then that would have been a much harder game for me.
Required.
Opponent only had 6 gateways,
Ready.
but if he stayed on 3 base right now and just did nothing but made Zealots and Colossus, this would have been a very hard game for me. But notice the opponent has a crazy amount of money. They made a Templar Archives and like 8 more gateways right now, went to 14 gates. If they're just warping in Zealots, chronoing Colossi, and then adding in some Archons, they'd be great. But my opponent here is going for a 4th base and starts building like shield batteries, and probing, making upgrades, which aren't the worst thing in the world, but none of these things are important right now. Spending their bank is important. They start transferring probes from their main to their 4th, because the priority for them has to be defending the 2 base all-in that's incoming. And being on 3 base economy is already more than enough. So thinking about upgrades and 4th bases, these are things, if I'm on 4 bases as well, you need to do these things. If I'm on 3 or 4 bases. Because I'm on 2 bases, it's kind of the wrong focus. And yeah, if Rabbit did that and built just Zealots, they don't need Stalkers. Stalkers are really shit units. A few Stalkers to shoot up is okay, but you don't want many of them. They're very bad against tanks as well. Then it would be a very good game. Because imagine that's enough money to make 6 Archons. That's enough money to make 18 Zealots. Imagine 6 Archons and 18 Zealots goes to my army. I would be absolutely dead. And that's because that fight was so bad. It was an awkward fight, positionally, because I didn't have spotters out. So this is a classic game where I should have just found a moment, maybe at 6 minutes, maybe at 5 minutes, to just send a few Marines around the map. By the way, shout out to my opponent. There was an observer there, but it was a little bit further back. So the turret doesn't quite reveal it. It sees the turret doesn't see it.
Swarm forces under attack. Mineral field. Allied forces in combat.
Well played though by B-Rabbit, man. Well played.
Command.
Can you build a Lib instead of a Viking? Yeah, 100%. It costs a bit more gas, but it obviously does way more for the opponent.
Buildings.
Swarm forces under attack.
Yeah, Terran doesn't really have a gas dump. I mean, Ravens. Which you use in late game TVT, and that's about it, right?
Swarm forces
Have some
under
gas heavy
attack.
units you might go to later on. I'll probably start doing Lib first every game on Platinum. Or higher goals. Because like a Lib harassment, the problem is it really like wins games straight up and takes those goals. Lib harass usually does a crazy amount of damage.
Swarm forces.
So that's part of why I don't do it, because it'll put us too far ahead. Dudes, thank you so much for that overwhelming hype. Dizzle, you just frizzled my shizzle, and my nipples right now are absolutely crippled.
Command
Thank you very much for the
unacceptable.
1,000 biddies, the 5 gifted subs. Ian, M7 with the 10 gifted subs. Temler with 100 biddies. Tinker with the 17 months. Darox with the 50 month resub. Thank you so much for the love, everybody. Big thanks to Enzo as well with the raid before. Sorry I didn't give you props earlier. Thank you so much for the ridiculous generosity, guys. That is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. My man. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate that. I refreshed this. Figure that out later.
Mineral cluster expended.
Fucking A, man. I'll go to my third eye. I'm understanding things instead of just copying build orders, says Yellow. Hey, sometimes you need just to get a bit lit, right? Get a bit lit to figure out.
Mineral
See,
field depleted. No, not possible. Supply. Mineral
will you
field
eventually make a
exhausted.
raid?
Swarm forces under attack. No, not possible. Supply limit reached. Mineral field exhausted. Mutation complete. Mineral field depleted.
TVP will probably build a raid in every game.
No.
Raven's so good against Protoss. Especially if they don't play Stargate. Big, is it bad to expect a certain level of progression within number of games played? Expecting to gain value in 2,000 games played?
Under attack. Allied space under assault.
To a certain extent, you can expect progression if you're focused. It's not just games played on time. You need to actually
No, not possible.
like, yeah, if you're playing
Cluster
2,000
expended.
games and you're trying really hard to improve your community, you're sharing replays for other
exhausted.
people to review, you know, give you advice. You're, man, I really struggle against this. Let's really watch the replays and also share my replays and analyze it with people in my Discord, wherever else. Like, if you do all that stuff,
Drones.
yeah, I think you can definitely get diamond in 2,000 games. That's a lot of games easily. You could probably do it in far
Not
less than that.
possible.
But everyone has
Supply
different learning abilities. Everyone has a different brain, different hand speed.
Mineral field depleted.
A lot of people don't have any learning experience. They just weren't. They didn't. School did not match their brain. They didn't learn that good at school. Their job doesn't require that much deep learning. They're not as experienced. Just the guy is a fucking polymath, professional musician, knows how to code every different programming language. That motherfucker's gonna learn so much. That guy's gonna be diamond or girl in 200 games of focused learning, right? Whereas for the first person, it might take 2,000 or 5,000 games, or even 10,000. And some people would never get past Gold League. I would say usually outside of any disability, if they are within kind of the general range of human capabilities, the somewhere in the, you know, the middle 80% of human abilities, I think you should be able to definitely get well beyond Gold League. But it just takes a certain amount of games and focus on improvement. And a lot of people don't play games to actively improve. They just want to hop in and have some fun, and they will naturally be interested to figure a few things out or try different units and strategies, but they're never going to really work on their macro. They're not going to systematically even learn the hotkeys or control groups properly. They're never going to do anything but F2, select alarmy key. That player should have a much lower expectation of their progression than the person who's like, I've learned the core from the start, and I have my control groups written out exactly how I use them, and this is my build order, you know, for each, my opening for each matchup, the main composition I head for, here's the 2 different timing attacks that I can do to try to win the game off that build order. Here's I benchmark it after every game. That person's obviously going to improve and faster, right? So there's like it's different for everyone, but a lot of it is about how much effort you put into it and how systematic you are in your approach, right? Yeah. Some people don't want to learn and study for a game. Exactly. And the thing is, so what gets me is when people are like, oh, I'm hard stuck in Diamond 3 or Platinum 2 or whatever. And I'm like, are you trying to improve? And they're like, well, I play ladder. And I'm like, yeah, are you trying to improve? Like, I try to win the games I play. And I'm like, what's your build? They're like, well, it depends.
Welcome.
And I'm just like, I already know that person's not really trying to improve.
It's okay.
They're just basically like, if I play the game, I will get better. And I'm like, nah, not exactly how it works. You have to do a little bit of thinking in a strategy game, turns out, to get better. You know, like, go write your if you're really annoyed at being stuck at that level and you really want to get harder, go write your build order out, write your plan out, and just be a little bit more critical and introspective, and you'll inevitably improve. But you might find you do that, takes the fun out of the game. Fucking have fun being a Platinum League hero, man. Have fun playing at that level where you can just intuitively do stuff and fucking have some fun with it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just about having your expectations lined up with your effort level. That's the big problem that most people have, because they have an unrealistic expectation based on their work level. They don't. I think I come across so many people who don't see the direct relation between how much time and effort you put into something and how good you are. Like, it's like when people come in and they're like, okay, I just played my first 10 games. I got placed in Platinum. Is that good? And you're like, fucking doesn't mean anything. You've played a few games. Is it good? I mean, it's your placement matches. The algorithm hasn't figured shit out. They're like, but is it good? I'm like, what's good mean?
Okay, that's
naturally gifted at, but you actually have to put effort in to really find what you're good at, and what you enjoy often tends to be what you're good at, because if you enjoy it enough and you enjoy working at it, you're motivated to get better at it, and it's this whole cycle. Some people just bounce around from thing to thing hoping that they'll magically be good at it, and it turns out you're not good at anything if you don't put work into anything. So it's this weird, it's the fucking, the snake eats its own tail, you know? So yeah, I like helping people out, but people need to be realistic with their own expectations. So having fun just playing the game, have fun just playing the game, go for it. Did we just get another sub? Who was that? Who just subbed? Hey, Lasak, thanks for the 8 months, dude. Much love, man. How did I choose my main race? I played a bit of everything, and then everyone was complaining that Terran was overpowered, and I was mostly playing Terran, and everyone said Zerg was really bad and underpowered, and I got sick of people saying, fuck you, you're only winning because Terran's OP. And I was like, I'll show you guys that fucking I can win with Zerg too, you fucking idiots. These dumbasses I beat on the ladder won't have any excuses when I'm playing the weak race. They'll have to just
gonna disconnect.
They'll be like, you know, random reason. That, and I like Zerg because it's very different. Like the first time I played Zerg in StarCraft 1, it was kind of mind-blowing how different it was to other RTS factions. The thing is, I know I can get stuck at something for a very long time, says GW, who the correlation of effort and skill can sort of be decoupled. Yeah, well, that's the results mindset, right? GW, who, where people want immediate feedback on their results, but the actual path to improvement is not a straight up path in terms of results. Now, you will be straight up, you will be moving ahead consistently in terms of skill, but there's no metric to show that. So people will look at MMR as a reflection of skill. It is not a reflection of skill. It is not, it correlates highly to skill, but it's not an exact reflection. Case in point, you're learning a new build order. Guess what? You're learning a new build order, you're not as good at it, you're learning new skills, your MMR will drop, you're playing worse. Yet objectively, it's not like you're getting worse at the skills that you use to get to that MMR. You could still go back to those different techniques, that other build you're better at, and be that level. But people are like, oh, I'm getting worse, I'm getting worse. You're not getting worse. You're literally starting from a lower level with a fresh skill set, and you're bringing it up to that level. So you need to drop down, put effort in, and then bring it back up. And if you're too afraid of that losing, or those moments where you get stuck, and you're just only working on the one build or the one thing that you're best at, often you lose inspiration. You get very bored because you're playing the same thing over and over. You start doing it kind of mindlessly, and you're just obsessing over winning and losing. And so you never broaden your skills, and you basically stagnate, and you actually get stuck as a player. So it's the fear of going down and investing in different skills and being temporarily worse at the game that often freezes people in place for very long periods of time, because they play a few games with a new skill, they don't win as much, they get frustrated, and they abandon it and they go back to the old skill. They get bored of doing the old build, they say, okay, I'll try something new. They try it for a few games, they lose more often than normal, they get upset, they go back, and they get stuck in a loop where they never develop a new build or a new skill set, and they do the same thing over and over, which they're not enjoying doing anymore, but they feel like they have to do it in order to get as many wins as possible. For them, their problem is they are looking only at the immediate results in front of them. Think of them, they're like a Bobby Kotick who basically just needs to maximize this quarter, these quarterly returns, and it doesn't matter if they're fucking driving the fucking battlecruiser into the planet at the end of the Heart of the Swarm, into Augustgrad or whatever, in the end of the Heart of the Swarm cinematic. You know, he's like, but we're moving faster right now. I'm like, but you're steering it into the fucking ground. You're gonna crash the car into the fucking tree. He's like, but we're going faster right now. And then they're just fucking, you know, they're blinded to anything beyond the immediate right in front of them, right? Which is fine. He'll make lots of money and get out and be super rich. So hats off to him for being a very cool human. It is what it is.
Yeah, I can make a lot of money.
This brings us back to the people who never watch replays, and they not only don't notice their mistakes, they also don't notice the actual good things they're doing as well. Yeah. Being critical, you actually get to see, even if you are losing a game, you can watch the replay and be like, I actually did bam, bam, bam really well. Yeah, I messed up this thing which lost me the game, but I got way better at these skills I'm working on, and therefore I have a tangible feeling of I am getting better, and I know my skill is improving, even if my results are worse. That is a really good point from Booyah. That's very, very important. Good shit, mate. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to have a very quick break after that gigantic rant. Something I'm very passionate about, because once you understand... Once you see the way... Once you understand the way broadly, you see it in all things. It's kind of like... It's just about understanding how much time you're putting into things, really, and having realistic expectations. Thanks for watching. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Next game's coming right up. Sorry for the big dilly-dally for a bit of a rant. Good to have a bit of a discussion with you guys. Thanks so much for the huge support, by the way. Appreciate it. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
More minerals required.
I want you on my rack. I want you. I want you to unwrap. I want to pull your string.
Allied forces in combat.
Yes. Alright. Seems like fun to me.
Newly birthed queen ready. In ally space under assault, mineral field depleted. Not enough minerals. Not enough energy. Must mineral cluster expended. Mineral quantity insufficient, overlords. Insufficient. Allies base under assault.
Okay, I'm gonna transition. I'm gonna start transition into roaches.
Allies base under assault. More minerals require. Structure must be placed on Vespine Geyser. Queen birth successful. Not enough energy. Evolution complete. Allies base under assault. Mineral field exhausted.
Да ну что же это сегодня за, блядь, дебилизм? Эрикуба, ну, я как бы подозревал. Потерял столько рейтинга, блядь. Таран я выхожу, блядь, пошел нахуй. Этим долбебам ничего не объяснишь, блядь, это им похуй. Рейтинга потерял. Блядь, как его набивать буду? Лак.
You get better at it. Alright guys, we've got a TVZ up next. Sorry for the epic wait, my friend. Go. Guys, we've got special in the game right now. It says, play me Bish, a real challenge. Maybe a bit too high level. I for gold league. I verse you in Masters GM episode.
Not enough minerals.
He says, lol, okay. Alright, good stuff. Hard to pick up something you got rusty at. You used to be pretty good at guitar. It's hard to pick back up. It'll come back so quickly, Blokey King. You just have to lower your expectations initially, right? Just remember there'll be like a week, a good, say a good 8 hours of rust. And also, I guess with guitar, you've also got to condition your fingers or whatever as well, and like your hands, just to get used to the movements a little bit. So if it's been a really long time, like decades, might take like a few long sessions, but there'll be a point where it comes back and it just clicks suddenly again, and then you do it. But you just got to not expect to be able to play properly until you've put in that time and work, and then you'll get
Not
there really quickly.
enough minerals.
It's once you lower your expectations, it happens surprisingly fast. It's just when you go into it, your expectations are unreasonable, and so it feels like you're not getting better and you're absolutely hopeless. It's so funny how your mind frames a situation massively changes your experience of it being long or short. It's that subjectivity where your expectation totally colors the reality. Alright guys, let's go. We're going to do barracks and gas. Let's go. Let's send the scout across the map. Hide that behind the natural. Control group 2. Have we got our camera locations? Second, third, fourth, and fifth over there. Probably want to put the fifth in the middle on this map is a bit better. Not that I'm going to take it. A little slow to put on gas there this game.
О,
Just centering those camera locations. It is what it
Is it
is.
the same
We'll drop
dude?
one more SCV to get to 19.
Need more Vespine
happens.
gas.
Let's go build the command center. Having some good philosophical discussions after that last game and talking about picking up instruments or games after many years not playing and all that sort of stuff. And it's fascinating how just being patient, not expecting too much of yourself, and then just slowly working at the skills, you'll improve so fast.
Newly birthed. Not
Whereas
enough
if you
minerals.
expect to instantly be as good as you were before, and you're like, I need to get there, it feels very painful and difficult, and you're very unreasonable with yourself. I always actually say that I have some of my best days on the ladder my very first day back from a tournament, when I've been away commentating.
А, ну okay, of course.
Haven't played the game sometimes for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And I get back and I play and win every single game. Like literally, I came back just a week ago after being away for a week and a half. I won, I think, 9 out of 10 games,
Not
which I never win that
enough
much.
energy.
So why did that happen? Well, very simple. That happened because I said, I'm really rusty. I'm going to play like shit. I have no expectations. I expect to lose every single game today. And I'm just going to kind of go with the flow
Overlords.
and just try and get used to the basics again and just do my thing. And I play calmer and slower and more methodically than I ever normally do. And it's crazy because I'm like, man, if only I could be this slow and calm and relaxed in my play normally, I'd be such a better StarCraft player. And there's obviously a lesson to be learned there about having reasonable expectations,
Insufficient.
which is something which is easier said than done, but definitely something you can try to mentally prepare yourself if you're hopping back into StarCraft after a big break, and basically to say to yourself, take a deep breath, expect if I was Masters before, expect myself to be Platinum now, and for it to take a good bunch of sessions to get anywhere close to where I used to be. Okay, so SCVs you guys know what happens.
Newly birthed queen.
Gary.
Блять.
Gary's gonna start a depot nice and early this time. It's gonna be a little bit better. Let's build a Viking as well. Now, people were saying, can you build a Liberator? We're actually gonna build a Liberator as time goes on.
Field depleted.
For now, though, let's build a Viking rallied over to that
Forces
Overlord.
under attack.
A few more SCVs. A few more Marines. Just doing these nice, clean macro cycles, guys. Really nice.
Insufficient energy.
We don't need the Marine down there. Put this tank on the high ground. Alright guys. So we want to lift the factory off, and remember, we want to do both at once, so we don't need to build the reactor just yet. SCVs, mules, Marines, depot, and now we can go build a reactor, build a reactor. We want to do them at the same time so that we don't forget. Always do things at the same time, guys. Batch those bad boys up. So the Viking, we're also going to check the front, and then we're going to go
Блять.
scout our opponent's bases, just to see what's going on. Build some SCVs, drop some mules,
Allied
Marines,
forces
and
in
looks like it's
combat.
time to build those barracks, guys. 1,
Mineral field
2,
exhausted.
3,
Queen birth
and
successful.
4. There we go. Alright. Build a few more SCVs, a few more Marines, and a depot. We can lower that depot there as well, those two. Let's go double gas, engineering bay. Control click the barracks, shift 5. Build a tech hub. Put that there. Build a reactor. Alright guys, looks like we see a third base, a couple roaches, there's some drones popping out. If they're building drones, it means they're not all winning us. Because if they're just building nothing but army, maybe they could be aggressive. Likewise, if we actually looked at the saturation on third, you can say, oh, he's joining his third base, therefore he's doing economy stuff. Not the most important thing, but we'll introduce a lot more scouting in Gold Part 2 and in the weeks afterwards in Platinum.
Enemy assaulting
Alright guys, so let's
drones.
lift those 2 barracks, put them there, build a tech lab. SCV count, just build 2 more SCVs, drop some mules, build Marauder, build a bunch of Marines, build a tank, and depots. Where's Gary and Bruce? Ooh, they went back to work. Alright, Gary and Bruce, I'm gonna send them a third friend to build an extra depot because we're already supply
More
blocked.
overlords
That's alright.
required.
Stim shields. +1. And drop
More
mules, no more
minerals
SCVs.
required.
Marauder, 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 Marauder. Lots and lots of Marines. You can see they're trying to kill off at least 4 Marines on each of those barracks.
Mineral
Then we
quantity
want tanks.
insufficient.
And, of course, medevacs.
Not enough.
Build a few more depots here. Make sure we don't get supply blocked anymore. We skipped the medevacs because they didn't have the money. So now I'm going to select it and build those
Minerals
medevacs.
required.
Now, if you keep this Viking alive, we can just put this out here and we'll see if there's an army coming across the middle of the map. So that's a really useful scout. We can also box these guys,
Mineral quantity
rally to the front,
insufficient.
and we can go just do some deselecting of the Marines across the map.
Swarm
Control 2.
has evolved.
Let's build some more depots. We're very close to being supply blocked constantly, so we'll go extra. We don't need any more mules. We're just saving them, guys. More marauders, more Marines, tank. We don't have the money for it, so we're just going to keep the tank and get the money. Now, what have we forgotten, guys? Let's double check our upgrades. We've got +1 on the way. We've got stim and shields. Let's get concussive.
Allied
We're doing pretty
forces
good.
in
And we're
combat.
almost ready to move out. Unfortunately, because I was supply blocked, I only have 2 siege tanks, now 3. We will have a 4th one in the near
Mineral field
future, so we
exhausted.
can move out soon and then bring more tanks for the reinforcement. Queue up a few more depots, a few more marauders, lots and lots of Marines. And let's unload that. Let's box this army.
Evolution complete.
Shift box, control 2. Let's move forward. We're going to try and march forward, siege some tanks, maybe a tank there, tanks there, and kind of work our way forwards in between the bases. But if we can have a tank there, that can be really nice for reaching across, I think. Alright. Lots of marauders, lots and lots of Marines here.
More minerals required.
We'll try and build a tank as well.
Mutation.
Notice I've got
complete.
vision ahead of my army, so I'm not too paranoid. We've got plenty of time to react if he comes out. Let's move forward. And what we can do is we can try to get these tanks, just kind of siege them out.
Mineral
Spread our guys out. We saw roaches, so we
insufficient.
probably don't need to spread out too much. But what we can do is we can just grab a handful of bio, stim in, try to bait them into a bad fight. Where's the drones? Interesting. Interesting. What's this? Ah, they're trying to hide the economy over there. Okay. So these guys are just going to go, we're going to kill that base. And we can just run them over here.
Command unacceptable.
Lots of
Command
marauders, lots of
unacceptable.
marines, tanks, medevacs,
Command
as well as some more depots. Remember, control click and lower those to make sure you guys don't get trapped. And let's grab another army. Shift 2. Alright, let's move these guys forward, guys. We're taking a bit too long here. We don't want to give our opponent time to pull anything too quickly out. Tanks forward, that there. We can just kind of
mineral.
keep these
Mineral
guys spread in
field
a big
depleted.
arc. So if the roaches run out, we just F2A move. And we'll do, oh, hello. Hello. Wow, this game just got interesting. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to select our army. We're going to
Energy.
stim, A move the front. Back at home, we're going to try and defend the natural, not the main, okay? So grab the SCVs, go there.
Mineral.
We're going to siege that tank. Keep building lots of marauders, lots of marines.
Mutation complete.
And we can raise those depots if he tries to run down there. But we've got SCVs, we can just box, stim, A move to defend, okay? Meanwhile, these guys are going to go in.
Mineral
We're
quantity
just going to move up that ramp so they're not stuck behind each other, and then look at that. So, as awkward as this
Under
is,
attack.
we are going to lose the main. Let's lift that off. I guess we can lift these barracks off as well. Can't hold down the cancel button Q to cancel everything. And we can just lift those off so they don't die. Okay. If he comes down, then we will stem and aim him. But otherwise, we're just going to wait until the rest of the army gets home, okay? And that might be the last building there. Indeed it is. Notice it says has not rebuilt their base and is being revealed, and we can see that and select it even through Fog of War. So that's going to be GG when we kill that extractor. Alright, nicely done, guys.
Vespine Geyser required.
Cool. Funky play from the Zerg. I love the mass drop. Mass drop is so much fun.
Mineral field exhausted.
But did they not have upgrades? I thought I saw Evo
Must
chambers,
be
didn't I?
mineral cluster
Didn't I see Evo
expended.
chambers? Maybe not.
Allied forces in combat forces
Interesting.
under attack. Not enough minerals.
Main criticism of the
Mineral
Zerg is they're a bit
field
under
depleted.
saturation on both of these bases. Guys, you're better off having 18 to 20 workers on a base than being undersaturated. 16 to 20, totally fine.
Allied
Yeah,
forces
you don't want to be
in
so low
combat.
on that. Lulia says the tanks were actually useless in the base trade. We could have brought them home and let the bio do its job while the tanks defend. Very good point. Siege units in general in a base trade, you can send home to try and help defend, while the mobile units shove in. And that can work out really well.
Allied forces
Yeah,
in
this is very
combat.
cute. But notice how our opponent is kind of doing things in the wrong order. Like, they made 3 Dropper Lords, then they made Overlord Speed, then they made a few more Roaches, then they made 2 more Dropper Lords,
Minerals.
and now they've gone back to building drones and gases.
Allied forces
So-
in combat.
You want to kind of do things in batches all at once. You don't want to be like, I'll build, why are we making 2 Dropper Lords at a time instead of make 50 Roaches, morph 12 Dropper Lords, put them in the Overlords, fly them across the map, right? Ridiculous. I was too excited. I could tell. And then we were like flying left, then we were flying right. Yeah, you gotta definitely map that one out. I don't think Reticulous or Silver has played this one too many times. But drops like this can actually be surprisingly powerful, guys. Make
Sequences
eco, then
spun,
make army, then go
swarm
attack.
Mutated.
Yeah. Which is what we're doing, right? That's what we're doing. And that's what Zerg could have done as well. GG's though. Very, very nice, very cute. How many games have we played so far today, guys?
Command
I feel like none of these games have
unacceptable.
really dragged on that crazy. Could do a few more games for this section than the normal ones, since they've been so quick.
Additional Vespine gas required.
This is game 8. Hungry for battle? Hunger battle?
Allied forces expended.
PvT on
Swarm forces under attack. Insufficient Ves.
Never start a land war in Asia, never base raid a parent, never go against the Sicilian with death is on the
Forces under attack.
chest.
Vespine gas. Hive cluster under direct assault.
What's up, SSD 307? Hey, I'm using you and Vibes Bunch of Gem, guys. I got to platinum using
Swarm forces under
I
attack.
did this for the first time ever after playing Game of Thrones since starting Swarm. I finally reached this goal. Thanks to the epic guides and
Swarm
monkeys.
forces
Hey,
under
glad to hear it.
Vespine gas
SSP
required.
3XX specs.
Mineral cluster
Good to hear, specs.
expended.
Congratulations, mate. Platinum for the first time is a boundary many players will never make.
Mineral field exhausted. Command
You're not playing 18
unacceptable.
hours a day and cutting sleep. You aren't playing enough to improve. Pro said earlier as well. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Swarm forces under attack.
right.
Required. Allies base under assault.
I've never watched that. Wait. Actually, Actually, or have I?
Field depleted.
Which one's Princess Bride? Oh, I think I did watch that. I think Dot maybe showed me that movie. I think I've never watched it.
Allied
Is that
space under
indubitable,
assault.
right? Indubitable! I think I did watch this.
Mineral field exhausted.
Inconceivable! That's it.
Allied space under assault.
Alright, going. Good luck, have fun, mate. Let's go. Yeah, no, I watched it, but it was quite a few years ago.
Command
It was pretty fun. It
unacceptable.
was a pretty fun movie. It was
Command.
so bizarre.
Allied space under assault. Command under attack. Unacceptable. Swarm forces. Mineral under attack. Expended.
Alright guys, we're going to build some TVT. The build's feeling a little bit more fluid with those add-on swappings now. And I think we definitely are changing the build to make sure that we're going to
Geyser depleted.
just kind of swap building the barracks after the tech lab just to make it easy.
Swarm
I think the
forces.
first couple of times where I was
Possible
swapping off the
supply.
reactor was just
Mineral
unnecessarily
field.
complicated, so we're going to stick with this way of doing it. I'll change it in the build order notes as well. You guys who are watching live, can try to update I'll try to edit these in the video as well, some notes saying, hey, if you want to, follow this, skip along
Mineral cluster.
to the later games.
Swarm
Like, notice
forces
that we're
under
actually not
attack.
going to do the reactor swap.
Not
is
possible.
required, so
Supply
hopefully
limit reached.
not too many people get
Allied
tangled up doing the
forces
first
in
execution I did in the
Mineral
first couple of
Allied
games and then
space
have to
under
relearn it.
assault.
I apologize, guys. It is my bad. There's always a bit of a learning process as I play these
Evolution
games at this speed and realizing kind of what's viable, what's a little bit too
Mineral
hard.
field
That was really
depleted.
fancy. Rally onto gas there. Oh my. Alright, one more SCV. We've got SCV scout. That's alright. It's not too late.
Command.
Go behind the
Allied
mattress. TVT
space
here
under
versus
assault.
2400 Terran guys. This one should be a little bit less sweaty than those 3K MMR game opponents that we've had a few of.
Command.
But definitely
Unacceptable.
something where we can't be relaxing.
Mineral
We still
field
gotta
exhausted.
play the game properly. Let's go reactor.
Cluster expended.
Second camera location. Oh, we accidentally pulled the scout home. My bad. Hopefully don't lose that.
Mutation
Go.
complete.
Command center. Make sure all my camera locations are set up.
Take
Third
my-
base, fourth base, fifth base. There we go. Build the depot. And it looks pretty good. Besides the late scout, technically if a Reaper comes out, it could stop me from scouting here. So let's just go hide behind the expansion straight away. And hopefully we can see what's up. Build another SCV, build a few more Marines, and oh look, command center, same as mine. So it's a 1-Rex expand. We can just go home with this SCV, no worries.
No, not
Nothing
possible.
too crazy. You know what? It's time to build the factory, but I've got an SCV here, so I might as well just use that guy. This main base, lots of space to build buildings, so nice and easy choosing where
Vespene
to build those
geyser
buildings.
exhausted.
Get that second
Vespene
gas.
geyser depleted.
We can even rally here because there's no one on that mineral patch. Just helps optimize the mining a little bit. And we've got a bunker there. Keep building Marines and SCVs. And we can grab these two, chuck them on gas.
Swarm
Look
forces
forward. The
under
moment that command
attack.
center is finished, if you're waiting to do that, it's just going to be way more efficient. And because it's TVT, they could be Reapers. So if you want, we can rally those Marines extra over here to the edge of the cliff. And then
Allied
these guys inside
forces
the bunker.
in combat.
Tech lab, the starport.
Under attack.
Rally for map now. First map recycle, guys. Got 4 or 5 SCVs. Next we do some Marines. But of course, you're very starved for money at this point in the game. 4 Marines should be enough to stop a Reaper jumping in, so we can go back to rallying here. Siege tank. And of course, Gary. Gary's gonna get building some depots. It's already 41. I'll build another depot.
Swarm.
Then
Allied
Bruce will go back to
forces
mining
in
minerals before
combat.
joining Gary in the main. Just that. A few more SCVs,
No,
a few more Marines
not
here.
possible.
Obviously, I've got to keep tapping it because I don't have the
Supply
money.
limit reached.
They want to build that Viking as well. So the starport, add it to that key. Build the Viking. Gary over there. Alright, we're looking really good, guys. Gary can keep building depots. We don't need to wall off because it's TVT, but I've chosen to this game, so whatever. Build a few more SCVs, a few more Marines. Siege tank on the high ground. And of course, reactor can go down here, guys. In a little bit. Or actually, we can do it right there, right? And then reactor on the starport at the same time, so those sync up nicely. Beautiful. Let's get an extra macro cycle, build SCVs, build Marines, build depots. Alright. Grab the Viking. We're going to go for a scout of the main, and then land. And you know what, guys? I'm going to try and scout a little bit more with the Viking and pay attention to it, because now we're in gold. I do want us to start paying more attention to our multitasking. So keep a few more SCVs, a few more Marines, another depot, and what's next? Barracks time, guys. Let's select a bunch of SCVs. We want to go barracks, 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 and barracks. So we'll lift off the starport, build a reactor, lift off the factory, build a tech lab. Control click the barracks, shift 5, and let's go next macro cycle. Last few SCVs, drop mules, build Marines, go depot, and then go up in the main, where we're going to be joined by Bruce to build 2 depots at a time. Let's get an engineering bay now. We finished our macro cycle, build 2 gases. What did we scout in there, guys? Oh, I didn't actually look at it. I meant to micro it, but I was too busy. Looks like a pretty standard setup, going for 5 barracks. Looks like maybe we killed a ton of SCVs there, actually. We might have just done insane damage. Wow. Do another macro cycle. No SCVs needed, no energy for mules. So just... Oh,
Yeah, this is what was.
Before we can do that, 'cause otherwise we're going to end up queuing Marines on barracks that don't have add-ons yet, and it'll mess us up. Now we can go build Marauders, build Marines, build tank, build medevacs, and build depots. Beautiful. All right, macro cycle's done. So let's go stim, get shields when that's done. Let's get +1 weapons. Put guys on gas here. You can see we're a little slow on the gas. Uh-oh. Got to put that on gas a bit faster. Few more Marines, few more Marauders, and look, our rally is not correct. So let's box all these guys. Control 2. Lower those depots on that side. And awesome. More Marines, more Marauders, more tank, medevac. And of course, more depots non-stop, guys. Just getting better and better at building this macro forwards. And you're going to see, check this out. We're at 2 tanks. 3rd tank started. And that should line up pretty well. 3rd tank popping with these upgrades. So let's start concussive as well. And that's going to be a great time for us to move out, right? More Marauders, more Marines. Lots more Marines, guys. Notice I've got a lot of Marauders queued on the right barracks. These ones here are not. It's interesting. That says T and that says R. What does that letter stand for, guys? I have no idea what that R means. Is that R and T? I've never noticed that before, honestly, when I have the barrack selected. Is T the default hotkey for Marauders? I've literally never even noticed that. T and R. Discovering things in the game I didn't even know were there, guys. Let's queue up one more tank and then build deepest reactor and tech lab. Oh wow! I literally didn't even know that was there. I've never noticed that text. So it tells you which ones have tech labs and reactors. Oh, that's very cool. Nice little thing. Have you guys ever noticed that? I've never looked at that in my life. Tiny little bit of white text there. Now I'm on a 4K monitor. Maybe that's why I can see it.
Nah.
I'm worried about Pig being our coach, says bro. What are you? Oh, come on. Come on! Come on. Staring at details is for noobs. I accidentally just stimmed my whole army there. Uh-oh. You guys are making me afraid now. Alright, guys. Let's send some scouts out. Control 2. Rally to the natural. More Marauders, more Marines. Let's queue up another tank. Box these guys. Shift 2. A-move across the map. So we probably should have A-moved these scouts so we could fight the enemy Marines. It is what it is. Let's start +3 armor. And remember, guys, we don't need medevacs, we need Vikings. I manually clicked here to show you, but normally I just tap to it to build Vikings. Okay. Alright, he's sieged up in the natural. That's good. Let's make sure I focus on tank and Viking production while they're moving forward. Just a random tank out here. What is that doing? So this is the classic opponent that moves half their army away from the rest of their army, so you can just stim and A-move it. I'm sorry, Hungry for Battle, but I see a small army here. It's only a section of your units on their own. Unfortunately, a big mistake for Hungry for Battle, just leaving a lot of their units out on their own. And now they're bringing the rest over here, which I could maybe A-move as well. But that just made it kind of easy because we scanned, we saw all the tanks were in the natural, and then I was very surprised to find a tank on its own here. Then I saw a pack of Marines on their own, but I knew the tanks weren't there. So that just made it very easy for me, guys. I've got a very high repeat rate. I accidentally queued up 5 Marauders on each. That's 1,000 minerals right there. If you do that, hold down the escape key and get rid of that. It's okay to queue up the Marines because they're building much quicker on reactors. And build some tanks, build some Vikings. All right. Shift 2. Scan. Looks like... So the problem... Yeah, the problem Hunger for Battle's having is they keep moving their tanks forward a little bit. They have a
Где вы
base there,
такие
they
имена
don't.
берете, блядь? То
Just gonna
Зета, то
scan.
Мегаус,
Okay.
блядь.
So what we can do, guys, is we can just do the distraction drop. We're just going to steal that onto number 3. And then remake our army, Control 2. Just tell that to unload in the back. We're not going to micro it at all. And we're just going to keep unsieging these tanks and getting ready for our next push. We're actually going to take the Vikings, put them on number 3. Put them out in front. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab our tanks, clump them up. We're just going to put them like there. Alright, and we're going to start moving forward with them, okay? So there we go. We can bait the bio in as well. Oh, he's actually got a tank there, but look, our Marauder runs forward, takes the shot. Okay, so we've killed some tanks. Remember the rule of 3 versus 1, guys. So we're going to take these tanks, click, shift, box, unsiege. These guys are going to get ready to take out that one siege tank, okay? Going to stim and A-move our whole army, siege the tanks, and then pull back.
То нифига
That was
себе.
pretty advanced, the speed at which I did that, but I lost my Vikings to make up for it, guys. Box these guys, shift 2. Let's do that drop maneuver again so you guys get used to this, okay? Just box, guys. Alt 3, if you're not using basic control groups, tell it to unload in the main and boost. And then remake army, Control 2, and move it back. And that's just going to keep my opponent really stressed out without me having to really do anything, okay? Look at this, our tanks are kicking ass now. Let's get our Viking, put that on Control 3. It's a shame I only have 1. Keep building Vikings and tanks behind this. Remember the rule of 3v1. So you can click their tank, see where the dotted line is if you're not very good at guesstimating. Move them in range, and we should... I think that back tank's a bit far back, but... Yeah. So even if he scanned, he'd only get 1 shot off, or if he had vision as well. Same thing.
Overlords
We're not going to
required.
micro that in the back, guys, because that's too hard for where we're at skill-wise. And... let's go build some command centers, just in case this game drags on, because it's taking a while. What we can also do is we can grab about half of this bio and we can go around the other side. So if we go down here, has he got a base there? No, but we know he's kind of down there. So
Who cares,
I
блядь?
want to be able to potentially sandwich him. Like if he gets in a bad position, I want to be able to just A-move everything and kill a lot of stuff, right? And you can see my bio army is bigger than his, so we can actually just stim and fight this. Where's it? Oh, there's a tank. I couldn't see that tank. Pull back. We don't want to chase into the other tanks. We did some good damage there. And he's got army coming. Let's make sure I'm still building lots of Marines and Marauders. And now build some more tanks and Vikings as well. We saw a drop coming across the map there, guys. So we're just going to try and find where that is. And then if we have to land the Vikings, that's okay. Can't find it, so I'm just going to siege these tanks up here. And that'll at least defend my 3rd base. Back at home, he moved a tank forward, but remember the rule of 3v1. He only moved 1 tank in range of 3, so he gets a shot or 2 off, and then he gets 1 shot. Big mistake for him. Now I'm very low on scans, so let's try and add these command centers to hotkeys. Oh, look at this. Okay guys, let's A-move the SCVs, stim, just A-move everything. Not the best fight for me, but as long as the SCVs do some good tanking, we'll be okay.
Not
Stim again.
enough minerals.
Oh my god, get in the bunker. Get in the bunker. Okay, let's bring these guys back. stim those guys, try to fight with them as well. A few more Marines queuing up, guys. Build another tank, build some more Vikings. I'm afraid some people will forget their macro entirely after watching what you're doing. Notice I'm doing it down here, guys. Select, what's going on? Build tanks, build Vikings, very important. We'll bring these guys to the front. I just took a crazy amount of damage, guys, so we need to control click these workers. Actually, control click the idle worker button and put them on the third base. We also need to build mules and more SCVs for this base as well, as make some orbital command centers on these. This is also very awkward right now because my opponent did a very good job of building a lot of siege tanks, making it hard for me to push in. We're going to try and move these tanks just a little bit further forward and see if we can get some good shots off.
Nice.
So look, he's coming forward now. We can stim the bio. Don't chase him. Stim the bio. And then run back. Don't chase into the tanks. Finally, we've got a contain, which we didn't actually get for a long time, which is why this was so hard. So go home and select command centers, tab, orbital, orbital. If you've got all the command centers on hotkey, if you build a lot of command centers in the late game, it makes it much easier to do that, guys. Looks like he's moved a tank forward there. More Marauders, Marines, tanks, and let's build some Liberators since they seem to have great Viking control. Control click idle worker. Don't send them here, guys. Remember, we got a fourth base as well. So we can double tap, recenter fourth camera location, third base, double tap, recenter third base. And we can hold down the worker key because we're only at 30 workers right now. So we're building as many workers as we can. We're dropping a bunch of mules. As long as my opponent's contained, we're winning this game. So what are we going to do, guys? We're going to use a dumping key. Dump Marine, check for corners. Dump Marine, check for corners. If he doesn't have corners, he's mining out. Whereas just by having this mining and continuing to make units, I should eventually win this game. I lost a lot of steam by losing all those SCVs, but that's alright. We can build Engineering Bay Armory. And look at that, cheeky bugger. Cheeky bugger. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to siege a Liberator up there, okay? And that'll deny that base on its own. These guys are going to go shift 2, and they're going to come back here. Looks like there's a Viking fight going on.
Insufficient.
Make sure we get these Vikings secondary army key. Kill the Liberator. If we can find his Vikings, that'd be great. There we go. So we managed to kill a Viking. If his Marines are part of the fight, obviously we have to run away though.
Not enough minerals.
Nice. He did siege a Widow Mine there, guys. So pull the Vikings back, drop the scan.
Required.
And you'll see the Liberator will kill everything. Now, what am I missing?
Insufficient.
Bring these tanks forward. I didn't actually scout the top left. So let's do that. Oh, I forgot to hold position the Vikings, guys. Hold position. Hold position, guys. And we can finally break their line here as well. With these tanks moving forward. I have so much fire that I think we're okay. We're just trying to make sure we didn't screw up at all. And is that what I think it is? Is that another planetary? Alright, we'll tell this Liberator to siege that base as
Hive
well.
cluster under direct assault.
Good job from our opponent here, just hanging on. Alright, let's build some more workers here, guys. And let's try to fix up our workers a little bit. Remember, we don't have any gas mining. So let's move those guys there, those guys there. We can try to go take 2 gases, take 2 gases. Hold down the worker key. And then we just box a few workers, put them on gas. Or you can do it this way, using that Shift deselect. Do it the same here. Right click, Shift deselect, right click, Shift deselect. And suddenly, you're back in gas income. And that's us planning ahead, because we lost all of our gas miners before this, okay? Okay, so what's defending the natural now, guys? It's only 2 siege tanks, so we can basically just box these guys. Notice I'm not using my control groups anymore, because there's lots of things in different areas. We want to be very manual in how we control things. We're just going to move in and take out our opponent's tanks. Now, I don't want to go up the cliff, but now I've got a tank covering the ramp. I'm killing a command center. This should basically checkmate. Keep building Marauders, Marines, tanks, and Liberators, and we should be good. We also, if the game really drags on, we do want to start 2-2 and vehicle weapon upgrades, okay? Alright, so it looks like we've basically got checkmate now. We're just going to take these tanks and move them here. What you can do is you can actually send a tank, just queue it there. In vision, but not close enough to die. Send a tank here. In vision, not close enough to get hit. They'll eventually kill those planetaries, okay? These medevacs, we don't need those. Just bring them back to the front. Bring these guys here as well. And it's all just about being methodical and never feeling like you have to jump into the meat grinder.
More minerals required.
So look at that. If we unsiege the tank, it can fight. And bring these guys over. So it looks like he kept a lot of SCVs. Maybe he flew SCVs over there. Over here as well. Look at that. So we can just kill that SCV building that. Oh, oops, I accidentally sieged too early. Run away, Liberator.
Queen
Run
ready.
away. Kill it. And he realizes he's basically checkmated at this point. So it looks like
energy.
GG, well played. He's going to have to give up there. TBT is all about positioning. It's all about just setting up in those areas and saying, hey, it's your problem now, and watching your opponent panic and then run into your positions. So this took a long time to finish. It took an extra 10 minutes, but because we were methodical, it's 20 minutes rather than 45 minutes, right? Could I have done things better? For sure. This positioning was very weird, definitely caught me off guard, and it was like an unfamiliar pattern that I didn't exactly know how to deal with.
Forces under
Like
attack.
I was so
Mineral
confused. I say he,
forces
sorry,
in
you could be a
combat.
she. I don't know who's a he and who's a she. You don't need to clarify. They, I should say, generally. Anyways, yeah, I'm way up in supply. Maybe I could have just stimmed the natural, but
under
this whole
attack.
setup was just absolutely bizarre. So hungry for battle. I only had one factory, but that thing must have never stopped building siege tanks. They had a very good tank count. And but then they just did this very weird setup over here, and that's kind of the problem. I think the way Hunger for Battle should have played
Not enough.
is, if you're gonna play this style with hidden bases, you probably want to play with like battle
Forces
cruisers
in
and stuff like
combat.
that.
Minerals
I
required.
think you want to basically play men. Because if you're going to take hidden bases, like the buyer never really did anything this game for you, but you had clever, annoying tank positioning, you had good hidden sneaky bases, and this usually goes better with a player who's building
Combat assault.
You're using lots of tanks, you're using like Banshees or battle cruisers or Hellion run-bys to do damage to the opponent's economy, and you're kind of playing the way Florencio plays with like layers of 6 defense
Forces
everywhere.
under attack.
Otherwise, you want to make sure you keep your buyer, if you want to play this style where you're kind of turtling, you want to make sure your buyer just hides off on the edge of the map, and when the opponent tries to push you, you fly all of your medevacs in, unload your buyer in my main, and you win with a big doom drop. And then I panic and I headbutt into your siege tank line, and I kill my whole army, while your whole army annihilates me. That's kind of what you were playing for with this, like, I'm not going to take a normal third, I'm going to hide a base, and I'm going to position tanks in the high ground, and that would have been really cool, but just stylistically, that kind of fits more with how you're playing here.
Spawn
Whereas if you
more
are playing just a bio tank build like this, you know, move across, be confident, even though you know I'm a bit better than you, this stuff, still go for it, and if you hit a good solid, you know, momentum timing, you'll actually kick some ass. So go for it, mate. Yeah, so from here, obviously that was some very good fights. What was weird is that he kind of moved out, took this position. Now, I could have just stimmed over, cleared this tank and bio with my superior numbers once the medevacs finish healing, siege my tanks here, and it probably would have been a bit easier to be like, okay, you're contained, let's do this. Because I didn't really have him fully contained, I felt a bit awkward. And the reason I didn't want to attack is because that tank on the high ground scared me away from it. I didn't want to walk into what could have been 2 or 3 tanks on the high ground. I was kind of like, oh, this is a bit awkward. But splitting the drops off was huge. Remember, we've already killed a bunch of SCVs with the Viking this game. Queuing a drop in the main does a ton of damage. I don't even stim it. And it's a huge disruption for our opponent to deal with. And these tanks were being insanely efficient all game as well. So I put a lot more attention into thinking about how I was going to break this weirder setup. As a result, I was much slower to take a 3rd and 4th base behind it, something we've been doing pretty regularly in TVT when the game stalls out a little bit. But you can see in the unit slots tab that the trading, just by us being very patient and careful, was very efficient. Now those Vikings there, getting shot down, got to be careful, guys. Hold position those Vikings, man. Got to try and monitor those. But another drop goes in the main, and this again got a ton of damage. You know, 7 SCVs, 8 SCVs, some fire, a couple of depots go down. So efficient, man. So efficient.
Depleted, not
You can see in the unit slots tab, this is
in combat.
very, very good for us. Cool. And then there was a lot of just my blob is bigger than your
Allied
blob, so I'm
space
gonna aim
under
move,
assault.
right? We've been doing that a lot more today. If my blob's bigger than their blob, we just attack move into it. That's good. Pig, how much damage did the
Allied
Viking do?
space under
I'm gonna guess like
assault.
7 workers. Let's check.
Allied forces in combat. Insufficient overlords.
Yeah, I could have pulled back the Vikings, but I was kind of playing a little bit slower to try and make up for the previous bio pulling back a bit quickly. That is correct. Oh no! Hungry for battle, A move the SCVs at it. 5 SCVs, not bad. Yeah.
Mineral field
You notice
exhausted.
that positioning is especially brutal, guys.
Forces under
If
attack.
you ever harass a mineral line with a single unit, if you put it in between the gas and the minerals, and I could have been a bit further down, if they aim move workers, they'll all funnel in one at a time. They can't get us around. Now, if he'd moved commanded past, he could have surrounded
Swarm
there.
forces
But in
under
general,
attack.
SCVs aren't the best at fighting around the Vikings. So, not bad. We got a scout
as
and killed 5 workers. Super successful. And already I'm up 7 workers in this game, which is massive.
Swarm forces under attack.
When I aim with Marine Medevac, my Medevac's fly ahead of my Marines and take fire. Advice? That'll only happen if the Medevacs are out of energy. So it's pretty rare. And if it happens, the Medevac's flying forward and side, shit happens. Happens to pro gamers as well.
Swarm forces under attack. Swarm forces under attack. Newly birthed queen ready.
Hey, we got a bunch of subs.
More
Big thank you,
Queen
Getty, for
birth
2-year resub. Stop
successful.
pulling them 22 months. Hell yeah, brother, I'm happy as
Newly
my
birthed
girlfriend when I
queen.
explained to her why the universe is flat. Heck yeah, man. Nothing better than trying to troll a significant other by making them, trying to convince them that you believe something like that.
Insufficient.
Like, no, but seriously, it's because of magnetism. And I'm like, what? Like, that's why the light refracts. It's because of the magnetism. Because there's a cylinder on the ice wall or some shit. And, you're like, and they're
Unacceptable.
like, very funny. And you're like, no, it's real. Look it up. Do your own research. Do your own research, honey. It's a good time. Favorite comedy movie? I don't know if I have one. Oh, there's so many different comedies, so many good ones. I don't know, man.
Mineral quantity insufficient.
Probably Bruno.
More
Nothing better than a
minerals required.
6'2" Swedish man with a PhD in sucking cock. That movie was just so uncomfortable. I thought that was pretty funny, but no, I don't know if I have like a best comedy because there's so many different flavors.
Swarm forces under attack.
Hey, why does every time I watch because my Viking takes off to deal damage? Oh my, that's called your Viking? Jesus. Mine's permanently in assault mode, tucked into the ground.
Allied
Anyways,
forces mineral
universe is
field
flat.
depleted.
Sure. How flat something is depends on what dimension you're in. That's true.
Swarm forces under attack. Mineral cluster.
Yeah, I can't think right now. I don't think I've watched any
insufficient.
like too many
Mineral
great
field
comedies recently.
Allied forces
So-
in combat.
I don't know if I have like a favorite one. Did you guys come to any
Sequences
consensus? Was there any name that came up that a
swarm
bunch of you were like, oh
mutated.
yeah, it's the best? Big Lebowski? What a fucking weird movie that is, man. The dude, man. I never watched Spaceballs.
Creep tumor. Swarm forces under attack. No, not Allied space under assault. Allied forces in combat.
Superbad is great.
Mineral field
Superbad is such a good
depleted.
movie, man. You guys know like the story about Superbad was made?
Swarm forces under
That's
attack.
what Seth Rogen and his buddy started writing out when they were like 13. It was just like a bunch of almost like,
Need more
like
Vespene
skits and dumb
gas.
shit that had happened to them that they were like written into like little
Swarm
script pieces
forces
and
under
then they
attack.
slowly turned into a movie.
No,
That's why it
not
feels
possible.
so much more relatable
Supply
than
limit.
most other
Wait.
teen movies because it was just based off all their dumb stories of their high school
Mineral
experiences.
cluster expended. Swarm forces under
it's fucking
attack. Not
legendary.
possible.
That's such a good high school movie because they actually act a lot more like teenagers do. Say like the dumbest shit. They would say like the most disgusting stuff like very loudly in public spaces with no sense of shame. You guys know how teenagers do that all the time? You don't realize till you're an adult. You're like, fuck, teenagers just have no shame. They have like no fucking idea what they're doing. They're running around just saying crazy shit all the time. They're so crass, especially groups of boys. They're saying the most fucked up shit like on public transport in front of everyone. God damn, guys. Trying to go to the bottle shop to get IDs. Having dumbass fake IDs. Yeah.
Alright,
Random
that
girls
was a
trying to
good one.
use you as a tampon. Or as like a maxi pad. That scene was oof.
Nice.
The like random going to a random house party and like scary older guys being insanely menacing. And you think you're gonna get the shit beaten out of you and stuff. Yep.
Nice.
Because that is actually the dregs of society. The 30-year-olds that hang around high school kids at parties are actually like the scariest humans when you're in high school. You're like, oh, that guy's cool. And then you're like, that person is fucking insane. Does it make me better or worse? I'm a teenager. I recognize I say things in public. Oh, it's fine. That's just, hey, it's just recognize it, don't recognize it. You gotta, don't hold it in. Live your best teenage life.
Your allies
Live your best teenage life. Yeah, they actually cast people who looked young as well. Yeah, everyone actually looked like not like 35-year-olds. It was crazy.
Your allies are in battle.
All right. How are we doing for ad breaks and everything? Sorry, guys. Momentum running out a little bit here. Ayo. Let's do it.
Base is under attack.
Sorry for the wait, mate. Thanks for playing. Go, go. All right, let's do it, guys. Let's do it.
Your allies are in battle. Your allies' base is besieged.
Yeah, Jonah Hill looked a bit old, but everyone else looked pretty young. And I don't know, by putting him in shorts, it still made him look a bit younger. So. And he was too funny. He was too perfect for the role. He was too funny. So yeah, he looked like a mini 35-year-old when he was newborn, probably. All right, guys, we're playing a turn versus Zerg. Now, I want to get a little bit more active with just kind of bouncing between macro tasks and the Vikings. I am going to play a little bit faster this game to do that. Once I get to that stage with the Viking out, I'm going to hunt the whole map and scout, and I'm going to bounce between that and at home. And we're not going to talk much about what I'm scouting or what I'm looking at. We're just going to kind of be focusing more on doing things and doing it quickly and getting used to bouncing between different tasks. And right at the start, we're going to do that as well. This guy, that there, is already going to be on control group 2. This guy, control group 3,
finish on
is
this
going to go
one?
scout around the back. Double tap 2, double tap 3, double tap 2, double